That last speaker, would you please repeat again? And again, apologies, but please repeat.
Yukon Party?
Oh, Yukon
It's
Party.
Shanko.
Very good. Okay, thank
Yes.
you. Have you got anyone else on the line? So I've got Yukon News, Radio Canada, NDP, Yukon Party. Is there anyone else on the line? Okay, great. Thanks for your patience. We're going to get started. And again, for Yukon News and Radio Canada, we'll get to your questions after the briefing.
All right, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. We're going to do a quick update with media on some economic supports from Yukon government. We'll begin with Minister Ranch Pillay, followed by Minister Richard Mawson, and by Minister Stryker. We're joined here by Mary Thiessen, who is our ASL interpreter. Closed captioning is also available on the Government of Yukon Facebook Live feed. Following the remarks, we'll take questions from media. All right, thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start by just also acknowledging that we're on the traditional territory of the Kwalin First Nation and the Tonquachin Council. There's no question that these are challenging times. Yukoners are experiencing anxiety and hardship right now, and there is uncertainty all around us. This is a very tough time for Yukoners, with worries about the health of you and your family and friends, combined with the fear about your income and your job, your business, or your livelihood. We know this is a reality for Yukoners. We are working to minimize the impacts of COVID-19 and support Yukoners and businesses as this situation evolves. And as it does, we will continue to find ways to support our communities. We are working closely with the federal government to ensure Yukoners are supported, leveraging federal aid that will maximize relief for Yukon's affected industries. As economic programs and supports become available, we will update information on yukon.ca. We also have set up 2 direct lines of contact, one for immigration questions and one for general business and economic questions. The phone numbers can be found on yukon.ca, and I'm also going to share them with you here today for media. So for questions relating to immigration, our staff can be reached at 667-5131 or outside of Whitehorse at 1-800-661-0408, extension 5131. You can also email yukon.nominee@gov.yk.ca. For general business and economic questions, Yukoners can reach us at 456-3803 or from outside Whitehorse at 1-800-661-0408, extension 3803. And you can also email us at ecdev, just ecdev @gov.yk.ca. The input Yukoners provide through committees, speaking with government staff, and online can help shape an innovative response to an unprecedented situation. The Premier and other ministers and officials have spoken previously to this, but I want to reassure Yukoners there are efforts happening throughout all levels of government on a number of fronts to address the impacts of COVID-19 virus. So today I would like to focus on the economy and provide an update on some of the efforts underway to address concerns of Yukon businesses. At the Department of Economic Development, we're taking steps to help Yukon businesses and employees make it through these uncertain times. We are looking for ideas from the business community for how we can continue to support them. Yesterday, we announced the establishment of the Yukon Business Advisory Council to monitor the economic impacts of COVID-19 on our territory. It is a much-needed mechanism to share information with our business community, hear their concerns, and find ways to support our economy through this challenging time. The Advisory Council is made up of representatives from a wide range of business sectors impacted by this pandemic in order to provide advice to the Department of Economic Development as we navigate these challenges. We recognize as well that many Yukoners do not have paid sick leave, and those who do may have less than what is needed for a 14-day self-isolation period. So today, the Government of Yukon is announcing a paid sick leave program. The paid sick leave program has been developed to allow Yukon workers without sick leave without sick leave to stay at home if they are sick and required to self-isolate. Self-employed individuals are also eligible for this rebate. So what does this mean for Yukoners? It means that retroactive to March 11th, all eligible Yukoners will receive an additional 10 paid sick leave workdays in the event they become sick and need to self-isolate during this pandemic. Yukoners who cannot afford to take unpaid days if they become sick and need to self-isolate can now take time off work while still meeting their basic financial needs. And this program also covers the self-employed in the event of their illness and need to self-isolate. A doctor's note will not be required to qualify. Before I get into the details of this particular program, I want to take a moment as well just to reassure Yukoners that this is not our only measure. It's one of many measures that we'll be talking about over the short run and the next while. This is just one of course, a series of measures being introduced to support Yukoners at this time. The Government of Yukon is working closely with the Government of Canada to align our responses and supports respecting COVID-19. In conjunction with announcements made at the federal level for supports to Canadians, we continue our proactive approach to minimize the spread and risks of COVID-19 and support Yukoners as this situation evolves. This is our number one priority. But we also want to make or help alleviate the financial uncertainty Yukoners are facing right now. So this rebate that we've just discussed for sick leave has an anticipated cost of just over $6 million. Of course, we're taking this to, of course, ensure that we slow the virus's spread here in Yukon. I will now address the specifics of the paid sick leave program for employers and for self-employed individuals. Employers who pay their employees for taking time off sick are eligible for a rebate of that employee's wages for those sick days. These paid sick leave workdays will apply after all existing regular paid sick leave for the employee has been used. For self-employed individuals, the rebate will be calculated based on documented average daily earnings. The rebate will cover a maximum of 10 days of wages per employee or per self-employed individual to allow for a 14-day self-isolation period. And this rebate will be in effect for 6 months, and a doctor's note, of course, again, will not be required. This is just the start, and the rebate will have a meaningful impact on those Yukoners whose ability to provide for themselves and their families have been adversely affected by this pandemic. Today's sick leave program, along with the Business Advisory Council we announced earlier, are just two measures this government has instituted to support Yukon businesses and Yukoners. I'd like to assure all Yukoners that this government is taking steps to support Yukoners at this financially challenging time. We remain committed to working with our stakeholders to assess the economic impacts. We are in daily contact with businesses, organizations across the territory for updates and news on this developing situation. As another part of our efforts to assess the economic impacts of COVID-19 on the Yukon economy, the Department of Economic Development is undertaking monthly business surveys, and this information collected will inform Yukon government's responses to COVID-19. We understand that, like all Yukoners, Yukon business owners are experiencing extremely high levels of stress and uncertainty at this time. Economic Development is working with local industry organizations that are already surveying their members to see if we can integrate that information as well. Still, we are asking as many Yukon businesses as possible to participate in this survey. Many Yukon businesses will be receiving invitations to participate in the survey through various mailing lists in the next few days. And please watch for it and participate if you can. One concern we have identified is around the Yukon nominee program. And for any media here today, please, I ask you to highlight this after today's announcements. Nominees, like many others, are faced with possible layoff or decreased hours. Yukon nominees laid off by employers can apply for unemployment insurance if eligible. However, usually a layoff also means that a nominee has only 90 days to find another position without it affecting their immigration status. We are removing the 90-day time restriction to ensure that all Yukon nominees laid off due to this public health emergency will be permitted to continue the process of obtaining permanent residency without any disruption. And when this public health emergency is over, no new program application will be required for nominees to be rehired by the same business. We are also liaisoning with our federal counterparts to ensure Yukon's interests are being heard and addressed. And I know my colleagues will probably touch on this. Almost every day we are on the phone directly with a federal minister. I had the opportunity to speak to the federal minister of immigration on Friday, small business this week, and so on. Staff from the Department of Economic Development and across government are working tirelessly to develop programs and supports that will help Yukoners bridge today's financial challenges and those in the future. So I want to thank the department for its work to turn this all around in record time, and I see some of our staff here today. Truly, thank you. Yukoners are pulling together while embracing social distancing. And I would like to take this opportunity to commend Yukoners on the random acts of kindness and generosity taking place in our communities. And it's a wonderful thing to see. Yukoners standing by Yukoners. During this pandemic, it is vital that Yukoners follow the recommendation of the Chief Medical Officer of Health, and it's every Yukoner's personal responsibility for the sake of our modest but closely connected population. I want to extend my sincere thanks to all Yukoners for their efforts and sacrifices to keep Yukon healthy. I know I'm going to hand it over to my colleagues, and then if we could hold, we can answer questions on our announcement today, my information as well as the information coming from my two colleagues. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I too would like to recognize we're gathering on the traditional territory of the Kwalin-Dun and the Tonkwatchin Council. We're in uncharted waters, and this is a very troubling time for Yukoners. There's no doubt about that. People are worried about the health of their families, their friends, their neighbors, their jobs, their businesses, and their livelihoods. We're seeing layoffs, we're seeing businesses struggling, we're seeing a lot of uncertainty. We know that Yukon's incredibly dedicated Chief Medical Officer of Health and his team are working to keep Yukoners as safe as possible right now. We are following his lead and respecting his recommendations. We're listening to him very closely and working very closely with him and all of our departments to make sure that the health of Yukoners is topmost in our minds. In addition to the work on the health protection side, our government, my colleagues and I, are working proactively to address the economic impacts of COVID-19 and support Yukon businesses in as this situation evolves. My colleagues and I are making several announcements today and will continue to find ways to support Yukoners and in our business, arts, and tourism and culture communities. We know that the aviation industry is crucial to our territory. I've been speaking about this for 3 years. We've made incredible investments in our aviation community, and in the last 2 months, we've seen that industry dismantled in the face of this global pandemic. The aviation industry is one of the hardest hit industries in the world right now. As a result, we are stepping up to try to assist our partners in aviation. We're waiving all airport landing, aircraft parking fees, and aircraft loading fees in the Yukon until December 31st, 2020. This change will save the aviation companies approximately $210,000 and incentivize carriers of all sizes to visit and stay in the Yukon once that traffic and our traffic resumes. It also eliminates a bill that several businesses would have had to pay. These changes will help address the economic struggles brought on by COVID-19 and promote economic recovery for Yukon's aviation businesses in the months once we move beyond the immediate threat of this pandemic. This is one way our government is working to help the local industry. We're working closely with the federal government to ensure that Yukoners are supported. Leveraging federal aid will maximize relief for Yukon's affected industries. As programs and supports are available, we will put information on yukon.ca. I would also like to speak about the importance of social and physical distancing and self-isolation during these very troubling times. Yukoners, if you are returning from outside the territory, you must self-isolate for 14 days. This is not something you may do, it's not something you should do, it is something you absolutely must do if we're going to protect our citizens in the territory, our neighbors, our friends, and our family. That means you do not go out of your home and interact with other people. And we are reminding everyone of that responsibility when they arrive at the airport here in Whitehorse. This is not going to be easy, but it is absolutely essential. There are networks of caring Yukoners who are available to help with routine things like grocery shopping. Please be selfless, reach out for help if you need it. Please help when you can those who require it. We all are in this together. We are all facing this pandemic together. None of us are not going to be touched by this. It's incumbent on all of us to work together to get through it. If you can't safely isolate yourself in your home, please contact us and we will help. It is not the time to take risks with your health or the health of others. Please take care of yourself and take care of each other. Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. I wanted to begin by giving a shout out to all Yukoners who are doing their part to keep us safe. Whether you're working, helping to keep our buildings clean, whether you are nurses, whether you're the Chief Medical Officer of Health, whether you are an ASL interpreter, thank you. I want to say thank you so much to everyone who is doing their part to, even if it's just in social distancing, thanks to everyone. It's so important. Thank you, merci, masicho ganoshish. In particular, I want to give thanks to Community Services and the folks who are heading up our Emergency Coordination Center and everybody who's working on this issue. Thank you so much. We're here today to announce several things. My role is to talk about making sure that Yukoners have home security during COVID-19. The Chief Medical Officer of Health has stressed how important our homes are right now. For social distancing, for self-isolation, our homes are where we go to be safe. That's why we as a government need to make sure that our landlords and tenants are secure and supported. Today I'm announcing new regulations under the Residential and Landlord Tenancy Act. These regulations apply to all tenancy agreements. There are protections which are specific to COVID-19. There are no evictions during health protection measures if someone is on self-isolation. We have brought in place rules for no evictions. And if citizens or tenants are unable to pay rent due to job or income loss due to COVID-19, then they can't be evicted and their rent is deferred. Our next step is to work with landlords. I'd like to thank the Yukon Landlord Rental Association for their press release recently, just yesterday, to talk about supporting this initiative and working together to address the issue across the whole of the territory. And I think by working together with tenants, with landlords, we will ensure that we can keep all Yukoners' homes secure and safe. Thank you very much.
All right, we'll go to questions. If you can come to the mic and just identify the minister you'd like to speak to. That will help with this transition. Thank you. CKRW.
This one's for Minister Stryker. What exactly is the timeline for the new regulations to come into place?
Yeah, so they're passed today. So they're in effect as we speak now. And you'll recall that it was 1 week ago when we were in the legislature that we talked about bringing this into effect. And so all of the folks at the Landlord and Tenant Office and including in the department worked very hard over the weekends and late into the nights to get those regulations here. So they're in effect now. And we will begin working next with the landlords and tenants to talk about the rent issue. Thanks.
Thanks. For the same minister, so when you say all tenancy agreements, does that include businesses as well?
It is for all tenancy agreements. So if the tenancy is around businesses, then it's also part of that agreement. But, you know, businesses don't have to self-isolate, so there's different rules that are in effect there. So we are, and I would like to say that we're working alongside of the federal government to make sure that our businesses are supported. We just heard a whole suite of announcements now today from Minister Pillay about how we're working to support businesses as well.
So if there's like a hair salon that can't pay rent for the next X amount of months or however long this lasts, what can those businesses do?
Rich, do you want to come and talk about the work that we're doing around? Yeah, so I think that this is really about talking about how we're supporting businesses. So I'm happy if Minister Pillay gives some sense.
And sorry, while you're there, and when you say deferred, does that mean that like the tenant will still have to pay that later then?
Yeah, right now what we're saying is that rent is deferred. We've heard of, for example, federally, the federal government has been working with all the big banks to talk about mortgage payments and about supporting those deferrals right now. So we're working very closely with the federal government. We recognize that landlords, you know, are dependent on those rent payments for their mortgages. So that's our next step, is to work with them to make sure that everybody is able to continue during COVID-19.
And if it is deferred, when will they have to pay it? Because in theory, that's why they're not paying it right now, right?
Right.
Then will they have to pay it all in one chunk or something? Because like where will they find the money essentially?
Sure. So today we announced supports for businesses, and maybe we could get Minister Pillay to talk about those. We also saw federally there are supports for all Canadians under the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit. So yes, they'll be deferred for now, but what we hope to do is to try and make sure that rent is still flowing during this time. We don't want it to become a big backlog that comes at the end. Our regulations that we brought in today are for 90 days, but we recognize that we will have to watch and see how the situation is evolving. So we want to support Yukoners right now, but we most importantly today wanted to make sure that as we got to the 1st of April and the beginning of the month, that we weren't seeing people evicted as a result of COVID-19. That will be our next step, is to work with landlords and tenants. Do you want to, Ranch? Oh, sorry, excuse me.
Yes, sorry, that was in regards to businesses and their rents.
The measures taken today are really focused on ensuring that individuals that are providing accommodation, rental accommodation, to, in the sense of the residential sector, is the real primary target for this. What we're doing on the business side, we've talked about a few measures today. We're still in very constant dialogue with the federal government, whether it be the Minister of Small Business this week or others. So the next set of measures that we'll be looking at in the short term is working directly with the Government of Canada, and they're still defining what that will look like in the sense of how we support our small and medium-sized businesses. I mean, there's been quite a few measures that have been put out already, and Minister Stryker's spoken to that, whether it be working with your banker if you're in the business sector, whether it is looking at deferral of tax payment. There's a number of things that have been sort of rolled out, but really what we're hoping is that we can work with our counterparts and ensure we have some measures and strategies in place so that our business sector can continue to pay their rent if they're leasing, or but also that they can cover some of their priority costs. I think it's in. I would just take the opportunity to say to Yukoners, all of us are in different situations. And I think it's really important to understand that the business sector right now is, many people in the business sector are in dire situation. And what you'll know about Whitehorse and the Yukon is that when people need a rally around a particular issue, you always see the business sector there. And whether that's supporting our nonprofits or raising money for our hospital, that's who it is. And so I think it's really important that people take a moment. Your neighbors that are private sector individuals, people that are entrepreneurs, are in an extremely difficult time. That's the work that we're undertaking and our department's undertaking. But I think that people, some people have that ability where maybe they've taken some time off because they have that ability to take time off with their kids. It was supposed to be March break. Others are working in different situations, but our business sector is under a tremendous amount of pressure at this moment, and I think we all have to be aware of that.
This is regarding the sick pay program. So will auxiliary on-call workers be, covered underneath this rebate program as well?
Do you want to come in on this? Okay. So I think at this time, what we're doing is looking to average it out. And I think we may see some anomalies. Really, in this particular program, we focused on entrepreneurial individuals, and we also have focused on people who do not have programs such as this. I think we are going to see some scenarios come forward, such as this, that we're going to have to really identify if our program is going to catch everybody. It went from a $4 million commitment early on to over a $6 million commitment as we continue to analyze it. I think what I would ask media in this particular time is that to understand, people always get frustrated because they feel that government at times moves slowly. And I can tell you that government is very risk adverse, and government public servants want to get things right. And usually our clients, which are the citizens of the Yukon, they want to see things done right. And so the difference today is that people are building policy, public policy, and they're doing it in 4 days and 5 days. So there will be times as we roll things out that we haven't got it exactly right, because things that you would normally take weeks or months to do are taking days. They're getting done in the evening, you name it. So in this particular case, we have identified the fact that the auxiliary on-call, we think we're going to be able to catch it in this. There might be some anomalies that come up, and I know that, the goal of this piece of public policy is just to ensure that the people who need it get it. So I don't see that individuals are going to be excluded. We're going to work to try to make sure everybody's covered and they have that ability to have those 14 days.
I had a question about people who are applying as self-employed individuals for those 10 days of paid sick leave. What exactly, as far as proof of payment, what you make per day, what is required to prove that? And are there certain people that aren't eligible? Are there some eligibility requirements there?
I think really we're going to get into the very, very fine details. I think what we've really identified is, we want those individuals, if they're entrepreneurs, to reach out. There is some rigor that we've talked about, but really quite light. It's just around the fact that we're looking to average out what people have made. I think we are going to have different scenarios. We're looking for people that have, they're currently employed, and but also people who are working sort of in the gig economy or in other areas. So at this point, I would say, without speaking about a particular situation, without having all the details, I think it's probably best that people follow through and look for that information from our public servants, and we work through that on a case-by-case basis. But what essentially you're looking at is a policy position where we're trying to ensure that anybody who is not in a position to have sick leave do have those supports. So I think that's probably, at this point, I'm not giving you the exact probably answer you want, but I think what we're looking at is, let's see as things come in what the scenario is for different people, and then we'll do our best to address the needs that people have.
Okay, thanks. We're going to go to our phone line now, and we'll start with Yukon News.
Hey, I just wanted to talk about small businesses. Sorry, there's a huge echo. I wanted to ask about, sorry, this is very loud, the echo. Can you turn me down?
Yeah, we're going to do that right now. Okay, let's try that again.
Okay. So my question has to do with, if business lays off people, are business owners of small businesses still going to be eligible to get money back? Like, how is that going to work if they have, say, 40 staff who they've laid off? Are they still going to be eligible to receive this money?
So, Julian, I think, again, we're in a scenario where each case will have to be identified. We know that things have been so fluid that when the announcement was made, and this policy has been backdated to the 11th of March, what happened during that week or that period of time where people may have needed to take time off, and then now, because of the scenario where the businesses potentially have laid individuals off. So it is retro back to the 11th. and it is in place for a number of months, as we've said. So I think that if we would still respect the fact that if an individual had to take time off in this scenario previous to being laid off, but it goes back to March 11th when it really we identified that this really started here, that we would still respect that. So yes, there is still an opportunity to use our program at this time. But as you've appropriately identified, things have moved so quickly that people that may have needed to take time off without sick leave at this particular time may be applying for unemployment insurance or another program. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, and we'll go to Radio-Canada français ou anglais?
Peut-être en anglais.
OK.
En français avec le ministre Striker, si possible. Donc, en fait, M. Striker, je vous demanderais juste de me parler en français à propos de l'annonce que vous avez faite, là, à propos des loyers et tout ça.
Je pense qu'on peut faire en anglais si c'est possible. Parce que c'est un peu difficile d'entendre ici dans cette salle.
Yeah, well, basically, I'm just asking Minister Striker to say his announcement in French, if possible. Talk about his, the importance of that announcement.
Thank you so much. You know, we just minutes before we stepped out here, the cabinet met to pass this, and I have to say, je suis désolé, je n'ai pas une annonce en français à ce moment, mais je vais faire une traduction tout de suite pour la communauté francophone ici. Je m'excuse.
Okay, so thank you again, and that's the end of our media calls for On the Line, and I believe we're going to be wrapping up now. Okay, so thank you all very much. Thank you.